Does Iraq stay together as a country, or do you think it remains divided amongst Sunnis, Shiite, and Kurd?
Yeah, you know, the interesting thing is that most people believe that Iraq is just that. I mean, Iraq has 29 ethnic groups. It's very diverse ethnically. The interesting thing is we had extensive briefings on Iraq over the last few months. You know, the situation in the West is quite volatile. Fallujah is still in the hands of of ISIL, as you know, this Islamic State in Syria and Iraq, or the Levant, Daesh, as we call them in Arabic, and they still control Fallujah, and they have been in control of Ramadi. The danger is that we see, if the situation in Syria continues, that you see the creation of a single battle space. Syria and Iraq become almost indistinguishable from one another. And the Prime Minister of Iraq, I mean, clearly has a moment here in which he can alter the course in terms of how Baghdad deals with these issues. I mean, I think there's broad sympathy on the part of the international community in terms of taking strong action against the terrorists that threaten his country. But at the same time, we see within Iraq, you know, the politics of division, and that has to change, and there has to be greater inclusion and a greater discussion. But again, it goes back to my original point. There is a supposition in the international community that you just stick everyone in a room and you tell them they have to make peace and kiss and make up, and somehow they do it. And we know from family experience alone that seldom ever works. That when you have bitter family relations, a sudden, you know, one Thanksgiving is not going to do it. A considerable length of time, and you need to sort of untangle how it was that you got to this point, and that's what we need to do. And in Iraq, it's not just sort of that reconciliation takes care of itself, national dialogue. I mean, you have to have a deeper understanding of, I mean, they have to have a deep understanding of who are they as Iraqis. You know, they don't know what parts of their history they celebrate, what parts of their history they recognize, what they don't recognize, and they need to do this. All of us need to do this. I mean, one of the most amazing things to me is that, you know, when you look at most countries, you know, we all have something to be ashamed about somewhere. Somewhere in our past, the treatment of minorities, neighbors, you know, colonial subjects. There's something there that we should feel very ashamed about, and so few countries have the strength to actually recognize it. But not recognize it in an apology. No, recognize it by reflecting it properly in your national curriculum. You know? So we all thrive on this sense of exceptionalism somehow, and at the same time we feel inferior as well, and we sort of live between these two poles. So I think all of us could do much better.